In episode number 237, we cover Mass Effect Andromeda's huge fail. It's off the market. Return yours. It's done.
It's price cut, Kelly. It's only a price cut.
It's price cut to zero of off the market.
We also have the highlights for April on Netflix for the month. I know you guys keep up with it, and throughout April, we've got some awesome stuff coming your way if you have Netflix.
And just released, we have the Justice League trailer. What are our thoughts on it about Daniel's big screen debut?
Yes, there's also a Webhead one. We'll talk about that too.
Something.
We also review the Power Rangers movie. How does it hold up to the original series that many of us grew up with?
All of this and much more on today's show. Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, lots of popcorn, and much more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
For those of you joining in for the very first time, welcome. The way we format the show is we're going to start out with some news, followed with a comic book highlight of the week, and special this week, we have our Power Rangers spoiler-filled review all the way at the end of the show.
That's right. We like to keep the movie reviews at the very end of the podcast. That way you can avoid the spoilers while still enjoying the rest of the news that we have. Anything spectacular happened for you this week? Anything frightening? It's not even Halloween yet.
So I think did I talk about it last week? How the spider tried to kill me at work?
You mentioned it, yeah.
So there was a spider last week at work that tried to kill me. Big spider. Big honking, nasty fangs, little 8 fucking beady eyes.
Was it the one from Chamber of Secrets?
It must have been. I just like a near relatives or something. It was huge. I have borderline arachnophobia, I'm pretty sure. I can't even look at pictures of spiders on my phone screen. Like, if one comes up, I have to have somebody hit the back button, because I can't. That's how bad it is. So today, I'm minding my business, getting ready for my day, taking a shower, look down, another giant-ass spider trying to kill me.
She's not exaggerating. She made a noise that I had not heard, like, ever. Like a squeak, but like a frightened one. And I got up immediately, like, what the fuck? I went into, like, dad mode, I think. Like, survival dad mode. Because I'm like, my wife and my child. So I got up, like, immediately. And to the point where the dog was like, what the fuck? Ace is looking around. What the hell is going on? Why are dad and mom freaking out? And I run in. And, yeah, you're, like, out of the shower. Like, there's a giant spider. And I look. And it's a fucking giant spider.
It was not exaggerating. So Florida spiders, we have this thing called a wolf spider, and I have never seen a small wolf spider. They're always ginormous, always. And they're really hairy, and they're really brown, and they're like borderline tarantula looking.
They're like a mini tarantula, yeah.
These things are terrifying. And it was just crawling around my shower floor. I had been in there for 10 minutes. I could have died.
You were thinking it was hiding maybe in your shower poof?
Yeah, I have a shower poof on the wall. So it was even closer to me than I thought if it was up there. And then I always, like, rinse my hair with, like, the shower head or whatever, and I probably hit it and it fell down at that point. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I don't know where these things come from.
All Florida bugs are bigger than if you don't live in Florida, imagine your biggest spider that you've ever seen in person, the biggest roach you've ever seen in person, the biggest bee you've ever seen in person, and then double the size. And that's about the Florida version of that particular insect or bug. It's
like in those TV shows where they journey to the center of the earth and they're like, because of the warmer climate, they're 7 million times bigger. That's Florida. We are the center of the earth.
Basically, yeah. Now, thankfully, I'm not afraid of spiders. I actually like them.
Thankfully. Good. I'm glad one of us does, because I can't. See, I have no problem with wasps. I have no problem with rats. I have no problem. Snakes, frogs, none of that scares me. Lizards, I'm okay. But spiders and roaches, nope. And I'm not, like, I'll kill a roach. I won't go near a spider. Nope, can't do it. I see one, I'm out, peace out. I texted my parents, and I'm like, I'm burning down the house. It's done. Find me a new one. I can't do this. So I've determined, so there's 2 giant spider instances in a week. And this one turned to look at me too, like the other one. I'm not even kidding. It turned to look at me and was like crawling. And no, peace, done.
I took care of it.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I've determined my child is either the spider antichrist that's going to destroy them all, or they're trying to make another Spider-Man. So I haven't decided which one yet, but if I ever hear my baby like cooing and laughing in the crib and I come in and there's just spiders all over it, I don't know.
Someone
done.
on Facebook asked you, what would you do if our baby had spider powers?
Well, the question was like, what would that do to me? So if a spider bit me and made my child radioactive Spider-Man, what would that do to me? And it would just make me like a frustrated spider mom. I'd be like, get off the ceiling. You need to come eat your vegetables. And they'd be like, ah.
I like how you're swatting at him.
Yeah, trying to knock him off the ceiling. I got my broom up there. He's got spider powers. He's not going to get hurt if he falls from the ceiling.
See, if you were a Mexican mom, you'd throw a fucking chancla, knock that baby with superpowers down, and it would immediately like, oh yeah, I'm eating my fucking vegetables.
All right,
Jesus.
all right. Well,
no chanclas, please.
I'll have to do that. I'll hit my spider baby on the ceiling with chanclas or something.
I had a pretty eventful weekend last week. I actually got to help with a Pokemon League Cup, and then I got to run my own Pokemon League Cup at my local comic shop. So that was awesome. Anyone not familiar with the Pokemon card game? They run these citywide tournaments, essentially, is what it used to be about a year or two ago. But instead, what shops have to do is go through an independent trainer or an independent professor, as they call them, or a tournament organizer, and essentially pay them to run these citywide tournaments at your location or at your store. But what was happening is a lot of these groups were taking advantage of, the certain power that they had. And a lot of shops didn't want to have to go through a third party because now the third party is representing your store more than if you got a couple of judges. So Pokemon changed it so that stores could run their own citywide events and change the name to League Cups. So now stores like the one I work at, I'm the tournament organizer, and I'm like, okay, let me get a couple of buddies together that I know are judges and can run these things. And we'll go ahead and run a League Cup. And in return, I helped one of my other friends, Bobby, run his League Cup as well. I was one of the judges for that tournament. It was a lot of fun. I always love the League Cups because, one, it's standard format, so you can only use X amount of cards from a certain amount of sets, to anyone not familiar. But two, you see these decks that are crazy strategies that you never would have thought before. The new Sun and Moon set just came out, so you saw like all the new decks updated with the new cards, and that was a lot of fun. Judging can always be a little bit tricky when it comes to like the final rounds because that's when the most, everything's at stake and players make the biggest mistakes that they normally wouldn't make if they were in round 1 or 2. And that's where, the judges unfortunately have to call out to the point where sometimes it is a game loss if the mistake is that irreversible, or you have to hand out warnings, or you are sitting there watching a game and you're like, oh my God, this player could have won the past 3 rounds or the past 3 turns, and they're just not seeing the cards. They're not paying attention to what they have. So that's always a little like frustrating, but it's part of the game, it's part of the tournament. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. Huge thanks to Will, Nate, and of course Bobby for helping out with my League Cup. Players had a lot of fun, no huge problems, and it creates, it helps with the Pokemon community in Central Florida. So yeah, that's what I got to do. And it's cool that I get, paid to not only work at a comic book shop, but to run Pokemon tournaments with friends, essentially.
Ugh, tough life.
Well, it is like retail at the same time, so I have that mentality going on, and I have to get as assistant manager, I have to keep the employees, running and going.
And watch some Pokemon, and sometimes play some Pokemon.
All right, granted, it's not like running a food business.
Thank you.
I understand that.
Thank you.
Yours is way more stressful than mine.
Thank you. I want to be a judge in your next one, though. Okay, I got. Pikachu wins. What? But that doesn't. Pikachu wins.
No one uses Pikachu. They use Raichu. Oh, you know what? They do use Pikachu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pikachu
but they evolve it into Raichu.
No. Lost.
So what is it, like Exodia and Yu-Gi-Oh? The first person to pull out Pikachu?
Yeah.
Pikachu, obliterate! And then Kelly comes over. Yeah, you win, Pikachu player.
Pikachu obliterated you. But that's not even a move. Kid, I'm a judge. Okay?
I've got the shirts.
I think I know what moves this Pokemon has.
So let's go ahead and move on forward with one of our hashtag responses for the week.
We asked last week, what is your hashtag comic book reading ritual? And we actually got another comment on it.
That's right, coming from one of our Patreon backers on Twitter, @John72Tex, who said, quote, I read least looking forward to first, and so on. Save the best for last, end quote.
That is exactly what I do.
That is the Kelli method?
I'm glad that you found the Kelli method. You will not be obliterated by Pikachus when I rule the world.
You are spared, so I'm not spared then.
No.
Because I just read whatever you're not reading is what I read.
You are the father of my child, so you get a pass.
Yes, I get a pardon.
Yes.
Darth Vader is saved.
I pardon. That'd be weird. Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine.
Well, Robot Chicken made them. They shipped them.
Oh, they did.
Is that what they call them? Shipping them?
Yes, that's shipping. Daniel learned all about ships and OTPs this week, too.
I did. One true pairing.
Yes, and
that's what the kids call it.
That's when it's actually a pair in the show. And then shipping is when they're not a pair in the show.
Robot Chicken had this bit on the Star Wars special where he's making fun of Vader as, he's calling him on the phone in front of, like, his cronies. And he makes fun of, what's her name, Padme. And, he covers the cell phone. He's like, oh, he's crying now. And they're all, like, giggling and laughing. He's like, hey, come on now. And, he calms him down. And eventually he's like, all right, just get over here. And okay. Oh, all right. I love you too. And then he hangs up.
You also learned a lot about Vegeta and Bulma, and I would like to thank you for listening to all my fan theories.
You're welcome. They're actually pretty cool. I like the Vegeta Bulma love story because you answer my questions. That's the difference, Brokeheads. If they can answer a question with a sensible answer, I'm all for it. If you're going to give me nonsense about midichlorians and you don't, and I like midichlorians, but when you don't have an answer with Darth Vader and midichlorians and whether or not his midichlorian count is higher or lower since now he has less limbs, no one gives me a straight answer on that. Everyone's just like, well, we don't really know because they don't know. No one knows.
Well, I have all the Vegeta Bulma answers, so throw them at me, Brokeheads, if you have any questions about how they ended up together or why they're together. I got the answers.
Let's kick off the news this week with the comic book side.
And this is some great news, not including its upcoming 5th printing and all future editions of Love is Love. IDW and DC Comics have raised $165,000 in support of the victims for the Orlando Pulse shooting.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. That is amazing. Comic shops could not keep up with the demand, and thankfully they busted out these printings as quickly as possible. As you can see, already on the 5th printing coming right up. And yeah, they are selling. People are buying multiple copies, and thankfully it's not all speculators. A lot of, even if it was, fine, the money's going towards the victims. I don't care who I'm selling it to. And instead it's some of the people who know someone who knew someone, or even they knew the family and they're buying multiple copies. Yeah, I know some friends who were affected by this, especially us being in the Central Florida area. And they're like, yeah, I need to get some of these. And all the proceeds go to the victims. And that's all in conjunction with Equality Florida. So it's just an amazing thing that happened. And that was put together mainly by comic book writer Mark Andreyko, after he got some advice from Paul Dini and his wife Misty Lee, who told him, why don't you get some creators together and create something? And he ran with the idea, and now we've got Love is Love raising money for families here in Florida. And we actually do have a quote here from that same comic book writer.
Quote, I am overwhelmed by the response to Love is Love. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that this product would not only raise so much money, but touch so many lives around the globe. In these divisive and difficult times, seeing the outpouring of love and support for victims of hate by people of every race, creed, orientation, and nationality shows me that there is much good in the world. We just need to keep fighting the good fight, and love will win. End quote.
And it is an incredible book. If you get the chance to pick it up, it is now available on Comixology. It's, of course, at your local comic book shop with its 5th printing, and more printings to come, I'm sure. If you want a physical copy, definitely go out and support your local shop. And it's got a bunch of short stories, not only in relation to the Orlando Pulse shooting. Some are victims or family victims looking directly at reality, at the news sections, and some of them feeling guilty by feeling relief that their particular friend was not at that area, and some feeling tragedy when they find out their friend was there. You see the worst one. There's some with superheroes too. One of Batman going into the crime scene of the Pulse shooting, and that was another really heavy. It's just a page, like they're just page long stories. But the worst one was the puppy that got adopted from the Pound, and they show you pages of them having fun together and loving one another, and the dog and its owner watching TV. And then the day of the Pulse shooting happens, and the owner doesn't come home. And then the next panel is that same dog, older now, back at the Pound again, and that's the end of it. And it's just whatever you relate to in your life, there's going to be a story here that connects you to it. So for pet owners, that one hits heavy. Like, there's some dark ones. There's some that celebrate life and love and just being a comic book reader, or just being gay, or whatever you relate to. There is something here for you. And it is an incredible book, and I think it is something that people are going to look back on and will forever be a bestseller on many of the trade paperback lists that you see out there. I would not be shocked to see this on the top 100 list, right there with The Killing Joke, for top 100 best-selling trade paperbacks at your local shop 5-10 years from now. It's an incredible project. There's a Harley and Ivy story there by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. That one was awesome. It's just a great project.
And it's wonderful to me that it's gotten as much support as it has and continues to get that support because, of course, being from Central Florida, we've talked about it before, how this hit home. I mean, it was home. This hit very close to a whole lot of people. I didn't know people directly who were there, but I knew friends of, friends of the victims. And, I mean, it was a very hard time, and we've talked about it before. Seeing our city come together was amazing, and then seeing people step outside of their norm and do something like this to help benefit that as well is an absolutely wonderful thing. So if you haven't picked it up, definitely recommended.
And also, credit to the listeners when we ran the t-shirt donation special for the victims also. So all the brochettes that helped the victims through the t-shirt sales, in which all the proceeds went to the victims also. Huge thanks to all of you that came forth. And if you went and donated blood, even outside of, what we did for the show, it's whatever way you helped, it is very greatly appreciated. Even if you're going to buy one of these, another copy of Love is Love, that's awesome. All of that just goes out there and brings forth this message of, no, you can't silence a group of people that, are fighting an uphill battle. You can't do that because everyone in the community is going to come out and put that message out much louder than you could ever imagine.
Transitioning into a little lighter subject, we have some video game news, like how Mass Effect is gone forever. Oh, wait, no, we're coming up to that. We're coming up to that, okay. So we're set off with GameStop. GameStop COO Tony Bartel believes that the Nintendo Switch will continue to be in demand throughout the rest of 2017.
I have a friend on Facebook. He used to be my manager when I used to work at GameStop, and he's still reeling from the calls of Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's up to the levels of the Wii yet, but I mean, the demand is high. And to anyone that says, well, Nintendo manufactures the demand by purposely producing less of these things, but well, not even that, but listen here. Your Nintendo, you just came off of the Wii U. What do you think the demand is going to be for your new system? Your demand is not going to be, let's make millions of these things and potentially ruin your future of console making. You're going to take the safe bet and say, we're better off selling out than being stuck with tons of these, because we still don't know what the market's going to be for our new console. And yes, it paid off for them. They sold out, and now we've got more news as to what Nintendo is doing to help meet that demand.
During GameStop's earnings calls, Tony Bartel stated, quote, as soon as we get it in, meaning the Nintendo Switch, into our stores, it's out within hours, end quote.
Tony also pointed out that the console attach rate with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is almost 1-to-1.
Well,
that is massive. That's huge. The employees are, of course, being, when I used to work there, sell them a game with the console. Make sure it's not just the console. Sell them an accessory with it, because the accessories, you make a little bit more from those than just the console itself. So everyone's picking up Zelda with their console, and that's an extra $60 that Nintendo is making, or, with after the actual earnings with shipping, about, $35, $40.
Oof. So the Switch sold almost 1.5 million units in its first week, and Nintendo will be doubling its console production to meet this demand throughout the year.
I think if the Switch had not done this well, we would not see another Nintendo home console in the near future. I think they would stick to handhelds or even strictly the digital market. But even without them having released a Pokemon game yet on the Switch or a true Mario experience, it's still done this well. I think they've still got another console in them, and even from the 3DS sales alone, they would still survive just fine for the next decade. But this is just saying that the market is still there for a Nintendo console to exist.
I remember the day it came out, all the guys at work, I say all the guys, a few of the guys at work were like, oh, I went to my store and I found one, and then somebody called me and told me there was another one at the other store, so I went and bought another one because you just can't find them anywhere. They're buying a bunch of them, and they're like, do you want to buy one? Did you get yours? Because they know that, we're into gaming, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait, but thanks.
There's going to be a hardware revision. There's going to be a Switch 2.0 with longer battery life on the controller, fixes on the ports when you're trying to charge it and play at the same time, fixes on the sync issues, although I heard there's a patch now that fixed that too. And yeah, I mean, the hardware is great for what it does, and a lot of people are happy to have Legend of Zelda on the go, but there's still improvements that could be made. This is very much like the original 3DS or the original DS, in which, this is awesome 2 screens, this is great 3D, but it can be a much better system, and that's when they came out with the DS Lite, or the new version of the 3DS.
3DS XL?
That was an even better version, yes. I love the 3DS XL.
We've noticed, just talking about that, because I just recently got my Pikachu 3DS, the new one, and it has that 3D that moves with you. And that was
the face tracking.
Yeah, the face tracking. And that was the first time, because I never played with the 3D. I hated it. It hurt my eyes because you had to hold it just a certain way. And now with this moving one, I'm like, oh shit, this is really nice. I could play with 3D. I still won't, but I could.
But I could.
But they are continuously improving these things. So the model we typically go by is wait for the Slim.
And I'm happy for anyone that bought it early. But we're going to wait for the Slim, the 2.0, whatever they end up calling it.
The Switches?
Switch Lite. I mean, maybe they'll make the screen smaller, but I don't think that's a complaint with them. I mean, a lot of them throw them in their backpack and that's how they travel with it. They're not really expecting to have it in their pocket.
Is there a Nerf case with that? Because I don't just want to be throwing that in my backpack.
I'm sure there is. And if there is, there better be employees selling that shit to families left and right. Because when I worked at GameStop and we were selling Wiis, all fucking day, even with the Wii U's, you need to get the Nerf cases for your controller. You need to get the Nerf cases for your Wii U screen. Because if kids are dropping and throwing those things around, those Nerf cases are going to protect them bitches. Yeah. And of course, parents would be like, yeah, definitely. And then you see them 3 months later. Hey, thank you for telling us about the Nerf cases. My kids dropped it and it's fine. And the Nerf case has taken a beating, but the controller is great. Parents love those Nerf cases. Those are fucking amazing.
And great job on Nerf. They're like, we don't need to do guns anymore. Let's do video game cases. Whoever decided that was genius.
Moving on to a game that I'm actually enjoying. Days after release, Mass Effect Andromeda has already received a 27% price cut in the UK for PC gamers.
It's on its way out. It's done. Its time is over.
Usually when the UK receives a price cut, there's one to follow very soon for the US and for North and South America. I think it'll stay strictly to the PC users because usually that version of the game, unless it's developed mainly for PC like World of Warcraft, for example, the Arkham Knight or Arkham Origins, I think it was Arkham Knight version of the game, the PC version was unplayable. People couldn't play it, and that's because the console version took priority for the developers. Why? Because it makes more money. You can sell it on PS3 and Xbox 360, and then PC is a smaller chunk of your market. And the same thing happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. They took care of the PC users for the most part in the past with the Mass Effect games, but they know that the console market is so fucking big right now, and that's where all of the focus went for the patches and the bugs and the fixes. And the other thing, too, is PC users are way more vocal about any mistakes and hiccups.
Because they just hide behind their PC and go...
Well, yeah, they're there already. So while a major patch to address single-player and multiplayer issues is on its way, as I mentioned, we will probably see a very similar price cut if you have it on PC right here in the States.
Just scrap it. Mass Effect, just call them all back. Call them recall.
I will tell you a little update now. I've been playing way more multiplayer, and the story, I'm still on I'm going to call it the fucking Normandy. I know it's not the Normandy, but I'm on that ship, and I'm doing all the fucking side missions, talking to everyone, finding out who sabotaged the ship, interrogating them, and meeting my romance options. One who is Cora. She's very militaristic, but she's always on my side, and she's supported me from the beginning.
Lady?
Yes.
I don't like her.
So I'm probably not going to pick her because I'm like, no, you're too eager.
You want me too badly.
Not a challenge. Like, I know for a fact that you can't romance the captain who doesn't believe in you. And she's like, I don't know why your father picked you. But she's about your age.
Romance her.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I want to romance the fucking captain. And I looked it up and they're like, no, you can't romance the captain. And I said, you should be able to make her believe, believe in you in more ways than one.
Believe in your penis.
That's how you get her on your side.
Mm-hmm.
You romance her, and then you and the captain can conquer the galaxy together. I learned there's side flings as well.
Oh shit, really?
For both male and female shepherd. It's fucking shepherd.
So does that ruin your relationship if you have a side fling?
I'm not sure. It just says like side fling. Like I was looking at the charts. I don't know if it ruins your relationship, but that's another option.
Because you gotta have some of those.
Another thing that's been going against Andromeda is the fact that the romance options for gay characters, so if your character is gay, there's only 2 for the male characters, and there's, I want to say, 5 for the female characters, whereas if you're a straight character, it's like, boom, like you have 7, 8, 9 characters that you can romance. So I know a lot of gamers have used that also against Andromeda, like, hey, it's 2017, how come we don't have way more options for same-sex relationships? And I'm like, okay, that's a legitimate thing, but the main thing that I was like, all right, I understand now is where the relationships that you do have with the same-sex characters is not as fleshed out in terms of story and writing as the regular characters when you do play as a same-sex relationship. So that's another thing that's also been going against Andromeda, aside from the huge thing of the graphics department and the animation. But from my perspective, my experience, I've already received my $80 worth of gameplay because I did buy the special edition. I got the extra crate and the extra materials and all of that. I've played the multiplayer, which is fucking amazing. It is solid. Multiplayer is on fucking point. It's better than Mass Effect 3. And not one review I've read has said multiplayer is bullshit. It is lacking. They've all said, no, the multiplayer is great, but this part is lacking. And I love the fucking multiplayer. I love that I get rescued every now and again because I'm not as high level as the level 16s, and so I'm running off on my own because they already know where the spawn points are, and I can't keep up with them. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna protect this corner of the map, and then I get knocked out, and here comes flying, hovering in this level 16, like boop, and like revive me,
like a Swamp Thing angel coming from the clouds.
Yes. Like, I'm being romanced in multiplayer by Revives. Like, I want there to be a romance meter. So I've been having a fun time with that. And the story I enjoy. I love the story options, the interactions. So I don't know. I think it's fighting, I hate to use the term again, but an uphill battle because of the way Mass Effect 3 ended. With people whining about the goddamn ending and how they felt it didn't mean anything. And I always say the argument of, you enjoyed 99% of it. What is the fucking problem? This was still an awesome experience. Not everything is going to be perfect. The gamers can't let that go, and I think they're dragging some of that frustration over into Andromeda.
You're going to have to start playing this game a lot faster, because you're down to like 6 months until it's go time. That's
something else Bobby was saying. He's like, yeah, come October, you're not going to be playing no Mass Effect.
You're going to have to hurry up.
I'm sad. Because I know I'm not going to have it done by October. I know it.
You're going to be on like the last mission. You're going to be playing it, and I'm going to be like, oh, time to go.
Even today, you were saying you can get some Andromeda. Like, thank you for being, like, sympathetic. You feel sorry for me, I feel like, because you're like, you can get some Andromeda time in today. You see that I'm not getting as much of that gaming time in. And I'm like, well, no, I got to edit the podcast after we're done recording. And it's like, and tomorrow I work.
I'm on a string of opens, so you'll have lots of evening time, because I will be passed the fuck out by 8 p.m.
All right, we'll see.
I need my 10 hours of sleep or I'm useless.
Sounds good to me. And continuing on negative reception, we have to talk about Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm. So in spite of the negative reception from critics and fans, Marvel's Iron Fist had a debut that surpassed Daredevil and Jessica Jones's streaming numbers.
It fell just short of Luke Cage, which also beat Daredevil and Jennifer Jones. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Marvel Studios that put this together. Mm-hmm. They should take that into consideration. The fact that their viewing numbers are still high, in spite of the reviews not being as high as the previous Netflix shows. I don't know if they're going to greenlight a season 2. I mean, the numbers are high. I mean, I guess I would, right? And just say, hey, we're going to address these problems in season 2.
Yeah, and then fix them. I guess. I don't know. I'm not watching it.
I'm not watching it either. I have no interest in Iron Fist. And that's nothing against the character. It's just not one I grew up with. I've never read an Iron Fist comic book. And that's the same reason we didn't watch Doctor Strange, is we haven't read a Doctor Strange comic book. So we don't really have an interest in the character. So why watch the movie or the TV show? And especially afterwards, because I'm like, okay, if people are saying it's legitimately good and I get the opinion from people that I somewhat relate to on tastes, then yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. But so far, that hasn't really happened for both of those.
And while we may not be watching Iron Fist, there are some things on Netflix that we are excited to see. And this brings us to what's new on Netflix, the highlights for April 2017.
For a full list of everything that's coming to Netflix in April, you can just Google what's new on Netflix, and you should find a full list. I know IGN does a full list on it, but here are some highlights based on what we've covered for the podcast in the past.
First one is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's got Johnny Depp.
Never seen it. Is it a nice story?
It's a horror film.
Oh, I don't want to see it.
Johnny Depp gets sucked into a bed, and then blood just shoots out of it. It's his first film role. His buddy tried out for that movie, and then someone saw him and said, "Hey, why don't you try out for the role?" He said, "Why not?" And the rest is history.
You look like you're going to do weird shit for the rest of your life. Come over here.
Continuing on the list, An American Tail. An American Tail, Fievel Goes West.
It's Fievel.
Fievel? Is it Fievel?
Yes, it's Fievel. Oh my
Fievel.
Goodness. You've never seen Fievel?
Not since I was a kid. I watched these things when they first came out and never again. And finally, An American Tail, The Mystery of the Night Monster. Did I pronounce that correctly?
I don't know what the hell The Mystery of the Night Monster is. I watched Fievel Goes West 100 million billion times. I don't even remember how I had the movie, where I rented it from. It probably came from the library. Libraries have those kind of things. But it was Fievel. And he goes west, and there's, a cat who's a sheriff, but he's fat. And then there's a little singing, one of those bar mistresses or whatever. But it was a little girl mouse. It was real weird.
So, should I watch these? Now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't. I was going to say I'll watch the first and the second one.
I remember enjoying them as a kid. I can't tell you if they hold up now, because it was a long time ago. It's one of those things that you remember doing a lot of, but it's on just the fuzzy part of your memory. Mm-hmm. It's way far away because you were so little. So I don't really remember it that much.
When you were little, did you ever watch Gremlins?
No.
Have you ever seen Gremlins?
No. That sounds scary.
Well, that's on the fucking list, and you need to watch it.
No, they turn into monsters, and it's scary.
It's actually a comedy. It's a comedy.
I don't like scary things. And let me tell you, my pregnancy hormones are so bad right now. I can't watch. I'll probably cry in Gremlins. Okay.
Did you cry during Power Rangers?
Yeah, I almost cried during Power Rangers. Calm down. I told you. Did you not see me the other night? I came home. There was a love song on the radio, and I came home sobbing because I was just so in love with my husband.
That's true.
Pregnancy hormones. Yes, I did almost cry in Power Rangers. So.
Well, we're gonna watch Gremlins, and maybe you'll cry, maybe you won't.
If I cry, then I call everything forever. Does somebody do one of the gremlins die and it's a sad moment?
No, well, gremlins die, but it's not a sad moment because they're evil gremlins.
Why do I want to see this?
Because it's fun. It's got puppetry and there's jokes.
So and scary.
It's a dark comedy.
It sounds scary.
It takes place during Christmas, and people consider it a Christmas movie, and you can decide if it is or not.
All right. Also on the list, we have Something's Gotta Give, starring Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton.
It's an old people movie.
Mm-hmm. Never seen that either.
It's about rediscovering your love of love at an old age. Because one is only dating younger women, Jack Nicholson, and then Diane.
Okay, this was 2017.
Maybe it would have been different.
And Diane Keaton, what?
I think she's divorced from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And she thinks Jack Nicholson is repulsive because he's dating younger women. Oh, it's his daughter. Her daughter. It's her daughter that he's dating.
Ugh.
That's what it was. I hadn't seen her since.
And then
theaters.
she hooks up with him?
She does.
Oh, man. Did he hook up with her daughter?
Yes.
I'm not okay with this.
It's actually a pretty decent movie. I liked it. I think you'd enjoy it. It's a love story.
All right.
Also on the list is Schindler's List, starring Qui-Gon himself, Liam Neeson.
Liam.
This watch, that could have been 10 lives.
Oh.
My car outside, that was 100. That's a great fucking scene. Love it.
It made me so sad. Did you see the thing? I think it was when that movie came out where they had the actual Schindler in a theater and they got everybody he saved, the kids of everybody, like behind him.
I think I saw that, yeah.
And he didn't know that that's who they were. And then afterwards, like, they said that's who they were. Ugh. Oh, my heart.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff.
I'm going to cry again. We also have Louis C.K.'s 2017 Netflix original stand-up.
Fuck yes. Louis C.K. is back, trying to get out of bankruptcy, trying to get some money. I love it. And Netflix is on a roll with this shit because they contracted a shit ton of comedians and they said, hey, put up an exclusive special for Netflix. And Louis C.K. is one of them. And I've been waiting for this one. And I'm still waiting. Can't wait for this to go up on Netflix. Watching the shit out of it. I love all his specials. I have all his specials.
He is not a good influence on you.
That's his older special. He's changed his routine since then. That's when he was married and bitter.
He still says terrible things about marriage and children raising.
He does. But then he goes, but I love my kids. I love them. Which makes it okay.
Because he has to say that now because his kids are old enough to understand what he's saying about them.
One of my favorite things, and I'll remember it when my kid does it, is that he's amazed by the things that his kids do. Because, like, he took his daughter to tap dancing, and he sees her, like, up there tap dancing and, you know, doing her thing. And he recognizes, like, while she's not amazing and she's not going to be the best tap dancer in the world, and a year from now she won't care about tap dancing, it's still phenomenal for him because, you know, 7 years ago she was just cum, is what he says. Like, and now to see, like, this thing come out of, like, your dick and go into, you know, and then be born and now it's dancing in front of you. Like, he recognizes that, and he's a smart guy. You know, he's a fucking genius. He is a genius.
Well, all right, you can take that from him.
Yes. 1 point for Louis, minus 1,017 against.
Because he talks about just nasty. We need to move on. There's other things.
For any of you that are trying to support the stop motion features and the industry, Kubo and the Two Strings will be on Netflix. I think I remember reviewing it close to a year now. The animation is awesome. The story, not so much. I'm happy that I went to theaters and paid to see it because I want to support this studio. But it's just an okay film.
Who'd you see this movie with?
All of my coworkers. Alex, Kara, Sam, Garrett. That's all their shout-outs. And I think that's it.
Those all sound like women.
Yes, Alex is a woman.
Alex is a lady's
Garrett
name.
is a lady.
All right. It could be. Where was my invite?
You were working. You're always working during the work co-worker movie nights.
I'm sorry that I'm making money for us.
See, now I'm still in loss. Like, I'm still lose either way. I don't get this.
It's called marriage.
I wonder if Louis talked. He never mentioned this.
We also have DC's Legend of Tomorrow Season 2, if any of you are still following that.
And the big one, a Netflix original series, Mystery Science Theater 3000, The Return.
Ooh.
New set of hosts, new characters with the blessing of the original. I think they're even producers. The same people that do riff tracks, I believe. That's what they're doing. I have friends that are huge into that group, and they'll crucify me for getting something wrong, so I will stop talking about that.
Next on the list, we have Homeward Bound. This was another one of my favorite movies as a kid.
That's one that I go to trivia night every now and again at one of the local bars, and they had a thing where it was like, name the top 15 movie dogs of all time. And we're like, okay, so we're naming, you know, the regulars, you know, Lassie. Like, who would you name? Who would you put on that list?
Well, there's Air Bud.
We did put Air Bud, who actually was on the list.
Yes. Lassie should be up.
Yep, that was Toto as well. From
Toto, definitely.
Even though I've never seen it, like, yeah, Toto.
Is Benji on there?
Benji was on there, and I'm so upset I didn't think, none of us thought of it. We're like, fucking Benji, fuck. We didn't, the thing that was on this list, like we said, Chance from Homeward Bound. Like, we're like, okay, who do we put? Chance or, I forgot the other, the old man's name. Shadow. And we went with Chance. But
you took a chance on Chance.
None of them were on the list.
Really?
But Bolt from Disney's Bolt was on that fucking list. And I was like, who did they get? What kind of millennial site did they get this from? Like, is this from BuzzFeed? What the hell? Like, it's always those lists. And I've learned now from that trivia night that they always get it from some site like that. Where now I have to think, okay, what would a millennial say on this list? And one of the things was actually, last time was spaceships. Famous spaceships from movies. And, I mean, that one was easy because we're like, okay, so 1 or 2, it's going to be Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon. But the rest of them were like, okay, so what are we going to put here? Fortunately, there weren't too many new ships that had debuted, in the last 20 years that, we had to name. Although I did say the Normandy from the Mass Effect games, and that shit was on there.
Oh, my God. Did you watch Homeward Bound a lot as a kid, though?
I did, tons.
And I cried every time, too. When they have to leave Shadow, spoilers.
Oh, down there in that pit?
Yeah. And Chance is trying to get him out, and he's like, no, I'm an old dog, just leave me. And then they have that moment where I probably couldn't even watch it now because I would cry way too much now that I have, because this was before I had a dog that I cried my eyes out. And then all, the fucking cat and, Chance run up, and they're owners are like, oh my God, we love you. And then the one kid's like, where's Shadow? And then the mom's like, well, he was old. And then you're like, oh, Shadow. And then they're walking inside and you hear, ruff, ruff. I mean, it's a big dog, not my little dog's bark. It's the only bark I could do. And then everyone was like, oh, Shadow. And he's like limping.
Yeah, how did they make him limp in that scene?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't want to know.
I still want to know. I never figured out how they got him out of the pit.
You never find out. He just did it. His love for his owner was too strong.
The final highlight on this Netflix list is The Prestige.
I think I saw that once, half of it, and I think I enjoyed it. Was that the one with the magic?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Christian Bale and Wolverine himself, Hugh Jackman.
Who was the old man in there?
David Bowie.
Yeah.
Oh, but also had Michael Caine. So Alfred, Batman, Wolverine.
No, I was thinking David Bowie.
Labyrinth himself.
Yeah.
The Goblin King.
Your eyes can be so cruel.
Christopher Nolan said that he wrote that role specifically for Bowie, and that if he had not accepted it, he would not have done the movie.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know if he said that just to get him, you better do this.
Better do it or I'm not doing it. And then Bowie could have been like, it's no skin off my nose, whatever.
I don't give a damn.
So those are our highlights, what we're looking forward to on Netflix for April. Like we said, you can definitely check out the full list online.
So the topic of Rotten Tomatoes and DC movies is something that keeps coming up. And now we've got director Brett Ratner giving his 2 cents, who actually helped finance the film, and talked about why Rotten Tomatoes ended up hurting Batman v Superman's appeal with audiences.
Quote, the worst thing we have in today's movie culture is Rotten Tomatoes, Ratner told Entertainment Weekly. Now it's about a number, a compounded number of how many positives versus negatives. Now it's about, what's your Rotten Tomatoes score? And that's sad, because the Rotten Tomatoes score was so low on Batman v Superman, I think it put a cloud over the movie that was incredibly successful, end quote.
That's true, and in spite of the fact that it sits at a 27%, it still made a shit ton of fucking money. Unfortunately, people that don't follow the finances and just see, oh, it got a 27% from Rotten Tomatoes, and even they don't understand that it's an aggregator thing. It's not like Rotten Tomatoes is a reviewer or something like that. Reboot it. Better start over, DC. No, why? They made millions. Why would you reboot this shit? Justice League is going to make millions, and Wonder Woman's going to make millions. But yeah, it did. People in their minds are like, well, it wasn't successful because it wasn't well received. No, it made a shit ton of money. That's the end story. And I think Brett Ratner is correct. And had he not financed the film, I don't think he would be saying this. But yeah, I think ticket sales were ultimately affected by the Rotten Tomatoes rating, because that would discourage anyone that is on the fence of, even though they may enjoy it, of like, well, I guess I won't see it if people are saying it's bad. Oh, I hear it's terrible. Like I had a lot of that during that opening week, and I'm like, well, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it.
I get in, I won't say arguments, but I do have some of my coworkers who come up to me sometimes and say, hey, should I see this movie? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't care about that movie. And then their argument will be, well, it has a positive Rotten Tomatoes rating. And I go, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean anything. Find a reviewer that you trust and go by what they say.
Exactly.
And if they say they hate it, this is just a bunch of people saying a bunch of shit and they're just compiling it together for you.
You will find a better reviewer in your friend, in your buddy, in your family member that you share a common interest with than what Rotten Tomatoes puts forward. And that just goes back to the argument of, do you trust reviews or do you not trust reviewers, or screw reviewers, I'll judge it for myself. It's really up to you, but I do still think that, listen to your favorite podcast or your friends and
stay tuned for the Power Rangers
go
review.
With them.
So ultimately, Batman v Superman grossed $873.3 million at the box office worldwide on a $250 million budget.
Enough said. That is it.
Done. Drop the mic. Bing. Tip over this mic. Whatever. You're like, so no, Kelly, that'll break it.
We're going to continue on the superhero side, this time onto Sony and Disney, as they debuted this week their Spider-Man Homecoming trailer.
So, to become an Avenger, are there, trials or an interview?
Do me a favor. Can't you just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Just stay close to the ground.
You're the Spider-Man from YouTube.
I thought they did a pretty good job with this trailer.
They did, yeah.
It looks like this movie is going to have a lot more heart than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Of, everyone hates me. I can't do anything with my life.
What about the Andrew Garfield ones?
That was sad. But I think I'm going to like this Spider-Man more.
How do you feel about Tony Stark kind of playing that parental role for Peter Parker? Which cost Disney a shit ton to have Robert Downey Jr. in that shit.
I'm sure it did. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think that I'm opposed to it. It's something new that they haven't done before. Mm-hmm. And I think for Peter Parker, it'll be good for his development as a superhero. Even though Tony Stark's probably not the best role model. At least it's nice to see that Tony Stark has taken an interest, or at least seems to have taken an interest, to help develop him.
I think in spite of the fact that Spider-Man it felt tacked on when you see him in Civil War, and I think that's because they got their deal, and they're like, okay, well, we're filming this, let's try to build him into it as soon as possible. In spite of that, people enjoyed it. They liked that scene. They liked that Spider-Man somehow meshed together with the rest of the universe, and that Tony Stark helped him build the upgraded spider suit. Iron Man is going to serve as that glue between these two universes for people that are still not used to Spider-Man not fully belonging to Disney. And it still doesn't. The rights are still Sony's, but they're having a partnership to share the character, or at least include him in this universe, while sharing the profits.
They have shared custody over Spider-Man.
For now, until, they decide they don't want him in those movies anymore and they can renegotiate a contract.
Oh, good. He's making money. Now give him back to us.
Spider-Man Homecoming is set to release July 7th, 2017. You got to see the Vulture in action. You got to see Michael Keaton. Was amazing. Genki. It's fucking Genki. I know they're saying it's Ned Leeds, but it's fucking Genki. Call him goddamn Genki.
No, because we got to save him for the Miles Morales movie.
Miles better make an appearance in this. I need to see Miles
so cool.
in Spider-Man Homecoming. Some reference to him. Anything. Just whatever you want to give us. We'll be happy with it. I'm happy with Genki already. I don't care if they're calling him something else.
They won't do that, though, because Peter was much older when Miles was around.
It's different continuity. It doesn't matter. You've got Tony Stark as part of his main thing. You're the comic book nerd that's like, that doesn't match what happened here. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Like Gotham right now, all out the window, Court of Owls and shit. Like, that should have been something established in season 1 of, this isn't going to be like what you read or have seen before. Get used to that, because we're just going to run and do whatever we want now.
Whatever.
So everyone should be okay with it at this point.
So an even better trailer.
Yes.
Than that one. Daniel's very own, his movie that he is starring in.
Absolutely.
With his friends. Justice League trailer.
It's good to see you playing well with others again. Just like a bat. I dig it. Maybe temporary. Yeah!
I am happy to have seen all of the reactions on Facebook and on Twitter saying that Aquaman is the best part of the trailer. He stole the fucking trailer, and I have to agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely did.
Absolutely. He was the best part. He is... Now, this is difficult for me to say because we all know that I have a soft spot in my heart for Batman. I think Batman is a beautiful man, but Aquaman was way handsomer than Batman.
And that is a compliment to me as
Yes.
well. Because anytime I read that comment of, you better hide your girlfriends and your wives, I'm like, oh, well, oh
and
my.
hide your husbands because they're taking everybody out there.
The fucking trailer, people have been asking for the Justice League trailer, and they delivered in a big, bad way. You got to see Batman getting the crew together even more than before, because before the movie wasn't done yet when we got that teaser of him confronting Aquaman and starting another fight. And instead it's now more Flash, more Wonder Woman, more team-up footage. We got to see goddamn Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson is Gordon. Awesome, fucking looked great. Had the mustache, had the hat. Aquaman has a suit now. That looks amazing. You got to see Mara.
Yep. For a hot second. Me swimming around. Hey,
That's
guys.
right. A Batman in the Batmobile. One of the posters revealed a lighter logo for the bat on there. Did you see that one? It's like a silver or white bat as opposed to, the black.
Maybe it'll do that thing where it flashes and blinds people. Like, wow.
Maybe. We got to see a bunch of parademons and the Justice League kicking their goddamn ass. A lot of green screening. Let's talk about the bad. Like, there's a shit ton of green screening.
Cyborg did not look good.
Yeah, that hope of like, well, maybe it's early and they still haven't gotten everything. No, Cyborg does not look good. That was one of the things where we were watching Power Rangers and it's like, okay, they can get it right of like a mechanical suit on an actor and not have it look like CGI 100%. But this looks like even the human part of the actor is CG, and it does not look good when they're talking. It looks weird. I mean, it's unfortunate, but the CG and the green screen effects being a little obvious is the downside, I guess, to this little trailer. But aside from that, everything, we got excited. We got to see Parademons. We got to see the team up. The music used, the cover for that Beatles song was incredible. Batman getting the crew together, lots of action shots.
Can we talk about the best part? Where Batman's in his Batmobile and Aquaman's riding on top.
Fuck yes.
Like, meow, and then he jumps faster than the Batmobile is going.
He's superpowered.
to slice through some parademons. Damn.
Dressed like a bat.
Damn. They picked one good-looking man.
That was great trailer.
You do realize that women are going to be running to that theater with their boyfriends.
Aquaman is officially amazing now. Oof. In the minds of everyone, Aquaman is cool.
Man. I have one of my best friends is a lesbian, and she is in love with Jason Momoa. And she talks all the time. She's like, man, that's such a great-looking man. And her girlfriend's like, no, what? And I'm like, calm down. It's not like she could be with Jason Momoa.
That's true.
And I'm dating Daniel, I'm married to Daniel, which is the next best thing. So, sorry.
Thank you. I will settle for next best thing to Jason Momoa. Absolutely.
We would all settle for next best thing to Jason Momoa.
One of the things of Aquaman, you mentioned riding the fucking Batmobile. People wanted fun. So if you complained about that scene, and you also complained at the same time that BVS was too dark, I don't want to hear that fucking shit.
You're a Marvel fanboy.
Because you're something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that complaint comes from, but you wanted more fun in your DC movies, and you're getting it. So I don't want to hear that shit anymore. I don't want to hear about, it's too dark, and that makes it a bad thing immediately. No, none of that anymore. That's out the fucking window. And to anyone saying, where the hell is Superman? Where is Superman?
He's dead.
Well, they're saving him for the fucking movie, too, because, again, if you complain that they revealed too much in BVS's trailers, which we warned you guys, not the listeners because they listened, but everyone else, we warned you that
everyone who didn't listen to our podcast and should have heard
I warned you on Twitter. You saw the tweet. Don't see the trailers within 6 months of the movie's release because, yes, you run the risk of having the movie spoiled for you. And the trailers are designed to sell you a movie. If you're watching the trailer and you're already going to see it, and this is the trailer, the TV spot from a week from now that the movie releases, expect spoilers. Expect to see Steppenwolf. Expect to see Superman in the black costume when he's resurrected and comes back and saves the Justice League and helps them out in the final fight. Expect a spoiler of Darkseid if we see him, and we will see him. There's no way we don't. I don't know if this is going to be the big fight with Darkseid, but we're going to see Darkseid. But this should be the last trailer you watch if you don't want things spoiled for you before the movie releases this November.
And exactly like you said, this movie is coming out November 17th, 2017. Oh, man. I don't know if we're going to this movie.
I'm going to the movie. I know it's right around our child's birth, but I don't think you are.
It's like 2 weeks after our child's birth.
No, you're not going to go see that.
No. But I need to see it. But I can't leave our child.
That's going to be a tough decision, Kelly. I don't know what you're going to do. Hopefully it's born earlier than... I mean, it's not going to be.
I mean, it could be a month old. Or it could be 2 weeks old. We don't know. My body decides these things. I do not.
Hopefully you're better off, and if not, I'll see it again. I'll see it twice with you.
How gracious of you.
Like I said, I'm still going, one way or another.
Okay, Vegeta.
I've requested that shit off. Yeah, I'm going to go train off in the movie theater in the hyperbolic time chamber, and I'm going to see Justice League. On to our Patreon shout-outs of the week before our Mighty Morphin... Oh, I'm sorry, we've got a comic review also, and then our Power Rangers review.
Our Mighty Morphin review. So this week it goes out to Alexander, whose Twitter handle is @SwordfishShow.
Make sure to check out his YouTube channel at purpleswordfish.com. He recently renewed the domain of purpleswordfish.com for another year of YouTube gaming.
Exciting.
And on one of his recent videos, he wore a The Reasons I'm Broke t-shirt on there and promoted the show.
Thank you. We appreciate
huge
that.
Thanks to Alex.
Well,
and be sure to check out his channel.
Does he take, like, game review requests?
Not that I've seen, although he did ask actually recently if he should do a playthrough of Mass Effect Andromeda, so I guess he does.
No. I choose Harvest Moon. Playthrough Harvest Moon.
Exactly what the viewers are looking for.
Yeah, isn't that
Harvest
right?
Moon.
So thank you so much for your support. If you guys are listening and you say, I want to be a Patreon supporter as well, for as little as $1 a month, that's 25 cents an episode, you too can help out the show by heading to patreon.com/TheReasonsImBroke.
Yeah, even $1 a month definitely goes a long way in helping us out in reaching goal number 3 for the podcast, which would actually help pay for the newly revamped website, TheReasonsImBroke.com, and also the various costs that come with hosting a podcast at the level that we are putting out. So huge thanks to all of our backers, even if you're donating $1 a month or if you're donating $10 a month. All of it matters. All of it helps us out. And if you too can spare $1 a month, patreon.com/TheReasonsImBroke. Otherwise, we do want to thank DecalAvenue.com for the help at the $5 reward tier. We want to thank you for tuning in and downloading the episode. That's always a huge support and keeps us going every single week. If you interact with us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Pinterest, all of those places lets us know that you are listening to the show and that you are enjoying the content that we're putting out on all of those networks and on the show too.
And of course, guys, as we say every single week, our podcast will always be free. The best thing you can do is just let other people know about us. Leave a review on iTunes and talk to us on Twitter. We do this podcast for all of you.
And here we have our comic book highlight for the week, Batman TMNT Adventures number 5.
This is written by Matthew K. Manning with art by John Somariva, and the colorist is Leonardo Ito.
This is, of course, based on the best Batman animated anything ever and the best TMNT animated anything ever with the Nickelodeon TMNT cartoon and Batman the Animated Series. This was originally meant to be the final issue of this miniseries, but due to the success of the sales and the reception, they have extended it for another issue, I believe. So this one, it clearly ends. Like you can see, okay, well, this is where they would have ended this whole thing. But it leaves us on a little bit of a cliffhanger. And we do know that the Krang are going to invade either Gotham or I guess it's New York that the Turtles are in, or even both. So we're going to see at least one more team up before this is all over. And yes, I want to see an ongoing of this series and make it happen. I don't care if they announce it later on this year. I'm buying all of the covers. and the main, everything, all the variants.
You're the only one supporting this comic right now.
Hell no. But I'm supporting it the best. I want to see more of this shit.
This book has a reason that it's on our top for this week, though, and it is just one page. Was it 2 pages?
2 pages.
It was 2 pages, where it does frame by frame of the opening of Batman the Animated Series, where they're chasing the guy up the building, the 2 guys, and beating him up and all that stuff, but with Robin and Michelangelo dressed as Batman.
It is incredible. Like, I almost thought they screenshotted the original opening. It is that accurate to the bank robbers, blowing it up and them getting in the Batmobile and driving off and beating them up on the rooftops and they're tied up. And then, of course, the iconic scene of them standing on the rooftop with the lightning bolts, except it scares Michelangelo.
And it was great. It was absolutely brilliant.
What a fucking love letter to Batman the Animated Series this has been.
And with my favorite turtle, because Michelangelo is my favorite.
That's true. Donatello and Donnie got his kiss.
Yes, from Batgirl.
Yes.
And then Robin got jealous.
Acted like Robin. You might get salmonella. Shut the fuck up, Robin. Jesus Christ. God damn it. But you might get salmonella from kissing a turtle. You are the Facebook comment. Every time there's like an animal video of someone like a turtle, like, pushing a ball around. It's like, you shouldn't do that. They're territorial and you're stressing them out. That's who you are, Robin. That's exactly who you are right then. Keep being you, though, because that is in character.
Overall, this was a great series. If you're a fan of either Batman the Animated Series or the Nickelodeon TMNT, it's a great all-ages book. We thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it.
This has been a month of movie reviews. And we've been going we have been going every week because the March's releases have been phenomenal, or at least it's hit the spots that we're like, yeah, we need to go see that. We need to go see that. We can't wait for Netflix. We're going to go pay and watch it. I don't know how April's going to be. Probably a lot lighter, but we hope you have been enjoying the weekly movie reviews with the revamped format. And with that, we are going to move into our spoiler-filled Power Rangers movie review.
This is your time.
Go, go, Power Rangers. Whoa, whoa, go, go, Power Rangers. Whoa.
If you have not seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled, this is where we leave off, and we thank you for tuning in to the podcast this week.
But if you are sticking around, we are going to start out with some statistics and fun facts about the movie.
So Power Rangers was directed by Dean Azraelite, who previously directed Project Almanac, and it stars R.G. Seiler, who previously did the Vice Principals TV series, Dacker Montgomery, who worked on Safe Neighborhood, and Naomi Scott, who starred in Lemonade Mouth.
So, all people I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can say Bryan Cranston. He's fucking Zordon, but everyone knows that.
He was there too.
Or Elizabeth Banks.
So, as of March 27th, Power Rangers has grossed $34.1 million in the United States.
$43.1 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. $43.1 million in the United States and Canada, and $18.7 million in other territories for a worldwide gross of $61.8 million against a production budget of $100 million.
So it's not quite there yet. If they can break even, then awesome. I don't know if they're going to get there. Honestly, there weren't that many people in the theaters, and the market for this movie is actually pretty selective. I know there's that wish of like, well, maybe kids will enjoy it and they will also like Power Rangers and that'll be their thing. I didn't see any kids. And granted, yeah, we didn't go during the prime time of after school, but I don't know. There hasn't been kids coming in the shop asking for Power Rangers stuff. And I think it's mainly, people in our age range, which at the end of the day is not a huge chunk of the market.
Well, keep in mind too, at least down here, we just got off of our spring break. So there's still other states that haven't had their spring break yet. And it also released the same time Beauty and the Beast released.
Yeah,
So,
Beauty and the Beast was still top dog.
Exactly. A lot of their parents are taking the kids to see Beauty and the Beast. I don't see this as a movie that kids are going to dislike. People our age who grew up on the show now have children and will pull them to see the movie. There was one kid in our theater.
Okay.
And she was dancing afterwards. She was real excited. She was like, cool. I think it'll hit its 100 million. I have hope.
So our format for the review goes, we cover the story first, then the acting/directing, and finally the special effects. Out of 5 something is the rating. So we're going to do, I wanted to do out of 5 dying Billies, but
no,
I'll let you
terrible.
pick. What are we doing? Out of 5 what?
You can choose. We'll either do out of 5 power coins or 5 megazords.
Power coins. Let's do out of 5 power coins.
Out of 5 power coins.
Okay, so story first. This is, I guess, similar to the show in which a bunch of kids come across the power coins. They discover Zordon and the rest of the Zords, but this is more realistic. So this is about a variety of kids that each have their own issues. They're not perfect kids. They're not necessarily good people, but they learn to overcome it, and they learn to become the people that they do want to choose to be. And that, I felt that was way more developed than obviously what we got. But I mean, that was a low budget thing. Who gives a shit? It made a lot of money. But this is a chance for them to go even deeper, and they definitely did. They did open the movie with a sort of post-apocalyptic scenario in which the Rangers are dead, except for Zordon, who is the goddamn Red Ranger. And we're like, God damn it, he was a fucking Power Ranger? That's a change from the show. And then on top of that, Rita was the Green Ranger. And she's been knocking all these fucking Power Rangers looking for the life crystals, the Zeo crystals, so that she can create existences and create planets and destroy planets and essentially have power over the universe. And the Power Rangers are there to stop her, and they actually, we think they all die going down along with Rita. But instead, Zordon is preserved through the Power Ranger ship, which isn't exactly a building like in the show. It seems to be like a spaceship. It is of alien origin. And then Rita gets preserved in evil. We don't really know like how she ends up living.
Right.
I guess by the will of the power coin. But they are preserved for 65 million years. The Zords are kind of like the Transformers in Beast Wars, where they take the shape of whatever the most powerful creatures were at the time that they're activated. So in that case, the dinosaurs, the mastodon, and all that. So cut to present time, in which they reactivate the coins. The kids discover these. Zordon explains that Rita is out there and she's going after the crystals still. But in getting the crystal and taking it out of Earth, she will essentially obliterate everyone on Earth, because that's what, according to this lore, started life on Earth.
The rest of the movie is essentially what you would expect a Power Rangers movie to be, or a team-up movie to be. So they have to learn to fight, because they can't morph because they don't trust each other. And then they have to learn to trust each other. And then you find out that if they morph, then Zordon just wants them to morph so that he can be free and he can be the
awesome.
Red Ranger. Yeah, that was really cool. Zordon was all like backhanded. And so if the Rangers can morph, then Zordon can get out of the ship and take over somebody's body.
I guess so. They didn't explain that part.
And then be the Red Ranger again, and that's all that he wants because he thinks he's the only one who can stop Rita, and these are just kids. And they point that out so many times. Like, you guys are just kids. What are you going to do? And then, of course, there's the death of Billy. So they decide they're just going to go after Rita anyway. Like,
in spite of the fact that they don't know how to morph yet.
Right. And then she beats the shit out of him, kills Billy. Nobody does mouth-to-mouth. Can I tell you how upset I was?
Yeah, she kills him by drowning him, essentially.
And nobody does mouth-to-mouth. They just let him die there. They feel his pulse and go, oh no, he's dying. Anyway, move on. So then they take him back to Zordon and say, Zordon, do something. And Zordon's like, nah, I can't do nothing.
We both failed as Red Rangers.
Yeah.
And this is your lesson to learn now. And that's kind of what Jason also accepts. And I thought that was another nice like twist or learning moment for both. Because that's when Zordon and Jason could both relate on something. Except Zordon's failure was much greater with the loss of his entire team. But that's the moment in which they what was it? They were able to morph, right? And then the whatever they call it, the crystal or whatever activates so that Zordon can come back.
The morphin grid. So they're all standing around, and Jason then goes, I would have given my life for Billy or any one of you. And that's when everybody's like, I would have given my life for you too, and me, and me, and me. And then that's when they finally have that connection, which opens up the morphin grid, which gives them the ability to
form
morph.
Voltron, basically.
It gives them the ability to morph. They just don't morph at that time. But then Alpha's like, it's open. Come on, Zordon, let's go.
And he does disappear for a moment. Bryan Cranston's big ass head was like, bloop. And like I guess he's trying to come through. But then at that moment, Billy comes back to life magically, and then Zordon comes back and he's like, no, only one of you can be the Red Ranger, and that's you, Jason. And maybe I missed the part where how that connected with Billy being alive, or he just happened to be like spit out the water at that point.
So only one of them could come back to life, is what he said. So the morphin grid opened, and he somehow found Billy's life force and sent him back through the morphin grid.
As opposed to him coming back.
So he saved Billy's life as opposed to...
I still wanted that to be like, he actually did try, like, fuck, I'm trying to... I can't take over someone's body, I guess. Like, my mind's gone, and he's like, all right, let's give him back Billy. Because he did disappear for a bit.
He did, because he was trying to find Billy.
And as dark as he was, it's like, I could buy him to just be like, I don't know, he tried to come back to life, and it didn't work, so might as well give him Billy back. Right after that, they, of course, learn to morph, and because they trust in one another, and they're willing to die for each other. And it's just like a Power Rangers episode. They go out, they have the putties, which are made out of like, they're like the rock monsters from Noah. So I was like, no, don't kill them. They're all angels here stranded on Earth. But they fight a bunch of putties, which was really cool because it's just like the show where you hear the and they're making like, oh, better watch out, see you next fall. Like they're giving their quips, and it's like, yeah, this is exactly like the fucking show. And then eventually they go up against Goldar, which Rita has summoned so that she can use him to dig up the life crystal. And Goldar, by the way, looks like shit. That's probably the worst part of the movie, aside from the Megazord, in which they look extremely... It's way too CGI. It doesn't really look like Goldar. He's constantly like a moving goo thing. I thought Rita was cool. I liked the bodysuit. It was way different than the show, but it still screamed like, she was a Green Ranger.
She didn't have her cone boobs.
That's true. They were the giant hat, like in the other ones.
But no, she looked cool. She looked badass. I liked that as she gained more power, her costume changed to be, cooler and more sinister looking. And she had her cool staff with the green coin in there.
Yeah.
Going around. It also really explains more why she has the powers that she has. So she's not just a magical witch. Like, no, she's got this power from this coin that we've seen that these other kids have, which also give them, powers.
I did want to see her at one point because she merges with Goldar when Goldar is after they form Voltron. They're like, okay, we need to get stronger. So Goldar takes Rita in his hand and they merge. I did want to see her transform into the Green Ranger at one point. I thought that would have been amazing. Or if she summons the Dragon Zord, that would have been like, holy fuck, man.
They got to save that for another movie. But you also have to think she's not connected to the morphin grid anymore.
I guess so.
It's gone.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But she can still summon power from it. I don't know. I don't buy it. But aside from that, I guess she needs to stay as Rita. It's all a big fight scene with the Zords, and eventually, they're like, we're all going to die together, and they get pushed into this pit of fire, which is essentially the core of the Earth, but they magically form, the Megazord out of that, which is like, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a Power Rangers movie. And they kill Goldar, and they bitch slap Rita up into the moon.
Yes.
Literally, that's what happens.
they bitch slap her. Like, that happened. And I stopped and I looked at you and I'm like, is she going to the moon? And you're like, yeah. That was just silly.
And, the Power Rangers save the day and they keep their secret identities from their parents. They keep going to detention because I guess Zach is now in detention too, even though he never went to that school.
Oh, he was supposed to go to that school. He never showed up.
Why is he in detention then?
Because he never showed up for school. So
bullshit.
now he's got detention for forever.
I call bullshit on that.
Listen, let me just explain this.
And that's the end. And, there's a mid-credit scene in which they find out that there's a new student to detention, and it's Tommy Oliver, but he's not in detention. You just see the empty desk with a green jacket on it. Ooh. And that's the end of the movie.
There was a book on there talking about trying to change yourself, too. That was on there. Because he's troubled.
He's going to have Rita's coin, and people are not going to trust him because he could be an evil ranger, just like Rita. Yeah, I'll see fucking Power Rangers 2. That story is compelling enough to where I'm like, yep, I'm in for 2.
I definitely agree. There were many things about the original, and the original for me, and I remember watching it a lot when I was a kid, but that's another one of those things that's like fuzzy on the edges of memory. I remember loving it, but from what I've heard and what I remember, there wasn't really personality distinctions between the Rangers. There weren't really compelling stories. It was, let's morph and let's fight.
Monster of the week.
And then we'll have silly things happen at school. So you really had different personalities and different real life high school problems for every single one of these kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it made it feel very realistic for everything. You had the changes like Rita and Zordon having been Rangers.
Yeah.
There was another big one that I felt that they had that I was like, that's really cool. I don't remember what it was.
Well, we've got Billy, and this is kind of us merging into the acting of it. Billy has autism.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Trini, who is not a gay character, but she's discovering herself still, and is kind of being forced by her parents to fit into a normal lifestyle that they're used to, and that's not who she is. So that's where it's a mental struggle. Zach is taking care of his dying mom, which is another thing that people relate to. Jason essentially threw his entire future away by committing a prank on the school, and he used to be, he could have written his own check to any college, and he threw that away, and now he's on house arrest. And who do we have? The Pink Ranger is,
Kimberly
did a bitchy thing and sharing a I guess nude photo or something sexual, or I don't know what it was, from one of her friends to that friend's boyfriend, and saying, is this the kind of girl you want to bring home to your parents? And then having been called into the principal's office with those parents there and seeing their reaction to, their little girl's photo. So she's like, I'm kind of an asshole. So everyone has their thing that they kind of work through. And I think for the most part, going with unknown actors was, of course, the right way to go. And
I agree.
I said they should have done that with Kong. Having Bryan Cranston was an awesome Zordon, I thought. And then we had Elizabeth Banks as Rita, and she was great too. I think some of the actors, I think Jason had a couple of reads there where I was like, fucking do it again, man. Let's get another read. The tone was off. He was probably the worst of the group in terms of, what they were doing, what they were acting with. Maybe Billy a little bit overdid it with the clapping constantly and stuff like that. I'm not sure. And I thought Trini tried a little too hard in being like the angsty, like, ooh, I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be your friend.
I don't want to be any of you. Oh, I'm going to roll my eyes as I join all of you. So, I mean, it's not the best acting in the world, but you're not going to go to the Power Rangers movie expecting that.
So that does, of course, touch a little bit on the acting. I agree with all of that. I thought Rita was probably the strongest out of all of them.
Yeah.
But it told a great story. Like we said, we're on board for the second one because it was still entertaining. That was a 2-hour movie. That did not feel like a 2-hour movie. I got out and I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, we sat in there that long, but, I really felt that it filled in all the pieces of watching their friendship grow, watching them learn how to do these, all these different things. One thing that I think I would have liked to have seen them incorporate, and I know it would have made the movie longer, but they mention, so Kimberly's a cheerleader in this. Jason had been a football player, and we see that Trini does a lot of yoga and I guess martial arts, maybe something along those lines.
It's not clear.
It's not really clear, but they all have sports that they have leaned on and practiced in the past. I would have liked to have seen them incorporate that into their fighting style.
Like having fucking, oh, and here's my yoga punch. And no, I would not have liked that.
Why not?
No,
they all fought the same way.
Yeah, like the Power Rangers.
I would have liked to have seen that. I thought it would have been a good touch to continue with their personalities.
Hey, Billy, go long. And he throws like a fucking putty at him or something. And
okay, fine.
Billy
whatever.
claps him
I'm never
to death.
mentioning things again. You're too funny.
What'd you think of the special effects? The last portion of the movie review here.
Like you said, Megazord and Goldar look terrible.
Yeah, and the Zords themselves were okay. They weren't as Transformers-y as I thought they would be, which was awesome. They weren't overly complex. And there's a nice jab against the Transformers at one point where they use a yellow sports car and use it to, kill a shit ton of putties, and Billy says, "Sorry, Bumblebee." So I thought that was a nice little thing there.
The thing I was most impressed with, I think, were their costumes, their Power Ranger suits, because I was very concerned when I first saw them. I'm like, those look really weird, and they have the galaxy in their chest, and it's just, I was convinced they were going to be all CG. The whole thing. And there were some moments where you could tell they were. Yes. Of course, when they're flying through the air to punch somebody, yes, that's CG. But then there's other times where you look at it and you say, well, is that a real suit? And they just put some CG over it for the lights and the colors. And then there's moments where they're standing there and they have their helmet. They got rid of the front mask of their helmet so you can actually see their face, but they're really wearing those helmets. It's not just a CG helmet and they're like, stand here. So I was very impressed that they did that. I don't think I would have been as pleased with it if they had just made it all CG and called it a day.
Exactly. And the fact, when you were asking me, was this part CG or was this? And I said, the fact that you're asking this means they did a great job, because if you can't tell if that was CG or an actual suit, mission accomplished. Yeah. You did your job, special effects crew. That is incredible. And that's when I said, I wish they had done the same thing or it looked this good for Cyborg. Like, do a suit on the actor and then CG the shit over it. Don't have it all be, for the most part, CG. It looked like the same technology that they used for Two-Face in The Dark Knight, which was done well.
Yeah.
In which they used like spots on the actor's face and then used those points to create a computer image over it. And that's what I think they did with Cyborg, unfortunately. But in this case, with the Rangers, awesome job. Worst part, again, Goldar and the Megazord. I mean, whatever. It's one thing. The Power Rangers themselves looked good.
Yeah.
And the suits looked awesome. I know everyone said, oh, they're Iron Man suits. And no, they're not. They're really not. They're Power Ranger suits. They even have the goddamn lips on the helmet.
I know. It was great. That was the best part. And then, of course, we can't miss that they played the theme song where they're flying out in their Zords. Go, go, Power Rangers.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the Kelli edit. You always put in that whoa. There's no whoa, ever.
I always sang it with a whoa. I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, we got... The special effects look good for what the budget is, and again, we said sometimes it looked like real suits, and that is awesome for the team. Hopefully we'll see more polish on future monsters. It's not just the giant gold thing, and it's not just the giant robot. We'll see in the sequel if there is a sequel.
Oh, and then we had, so talk about nods to the old show. I was sitting next to people who were obviously way bigger fans than I were, and every time something happened, they were like, yeah! So that was exciting for me, because they weren't disruptive in the movie, but I could tell when they had done something to please fans, which is what they should have done. Alpha, always going, ay, 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 or whatever he does, and they're like, oh, cool. But in the very end, we see the original Tommy and Kimberly.
That's right.
In the crowd, like, taking a picture, and I was like, yeah!
That's them right there.
And then hopefully that's a nod to them hooking up in the next movie.
Maybe. Whatever Tommy they cast, unfortunately, I don't think will. That's a lot to live up to. I think Jason David Frank did a lot to make that character
what would
so
you do
popular.
if they cast him?
Oh, that'd be great. Like fucking high school old ass. Yes. He's been held back for many, 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 many years.
And then he's hooking up with 18-year-old Kimberly?
Sold. Make it happen. Make it happen.
Chris Hansen shows up. Why don't you have a seat over here?
So let's give our overall rating out of 5 power coins.
I give it 4 power coins.
Wow, 4 power coins.
Because it was very entertaining. It did what it should have done. I would recommend it to any Power Rangers fan. I also think that it was wonderful. We're talking about woman power, but it made me want to be a Power Ranger. And the women weren't weak. They didn't need a man to save them. They were fighting their own battles. They were there being just as strong as everybody else. And, I mean, it was great. I think if little girls go to see this, they too would be like, oh man, I want to be a Power Ranger too.
Out of 5 power coins, I mean, it was the Power Rangers movie that it was more than I expected, for sure. I think I expected a worse movie than what we ended up getting.
I definitely did also.
The camera work even was awesome. Like at some points when they're inside the ship, it's constantly moving. There's a lot of movement, which is exciting. It was lit extremely well, and especially inside the ship. It's all consistent, which I thought was awesome. Some of the fighting practices, it's like, that was shot on the same goddamn day. Like, okay, fine, whatever the fuck. Probably a budget thing where it's like, just film all of those now. Get all the fighting days taken care of. So overall, as a movie, I'm going to rate it 2.5 power coins.
Aww.
But again, that's as a movie. I'm not going to put it on the same level.
I rate things as they're supposed to be.
Exactly, and we got to make that clear for every review so that they understand that. 2.5 power coins out of 5. I still enjoyed it. As someone who grew up with the Power Rangers movies, yes, go watch it. As a movie itself, like, come on, it's not gonna. It's a Power Rangers movie.
No, but was it what they intended? Yes, and was it more than I expected for what they intended? Yes.
I agree. Correct. You are absolutely right.
So 4 power coins.
So there's your review, Brokettes, for the Power Rangers movie. Let us know what you thought of it on Twitter @ReasonsImBroke, Facebook.com/TheReasonsImBroke.
For a link of everywhere you can find us and our shop, don't forget to visit TheReasonsImBroke.com.
Newly revamped with a player right there on the website. Share the show with some friends if you know someone that also reads comics or that likes to keep up on the latest from the upcoming movies. For the latest in Justice League or Spider-Man Homecoming, let them know about the podcast, TheReasonsImBroke.com. And huge thanks for all the favorites, the retweets, the likes on Facebook. All of that helps new Brokeheads discover the show.
Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I'm Kelli.
And I'm Daniel.
We'll see you next week.